I know this sounds crazy. I'm telling you, I know it's crazy. I'm aware of that. So this is what I generally do when I have the situation. Boy, it is a beautiful weekend. Our goats are actually right down over here, grazing down the hillside, eating a bunch of ivy. And we are up here. You boys ready to get some work done? Yeah. They've actually already been working. They've been helping me already because they did a really big favor for me. They came up a couple afternoons and I'll show you what they did because it's wonderful. They cleaned it out for me. You guys did a great job. Now we still got a few things in here. We gotta get the cabinet out. We gotta sweep all this off. So we're gonna bring up some boards that we milled and put them on here, try to reconstruct this as a temporary measure. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up the power washer. And when we bring the power washer up, we'll be able to get all the dirt on the outside of this off and hopefully have a warm enough environment to do some starts because, well, we just hit February 1st and February 1st, the perfect day to do starts. We're not gonna do them today, but I'm hoping to maybe next weekend. We'll see. But at least this will be cleaned up and ready when we're ready. Good job, boys. By the way, you guys totally missed these yellow jackets up here. It's right there. There's a little pile of them right there.
I didn't even know what I did.
There's just a few. We have been working tirelessly on getting this area cleaned up. The boys and I are gonna get this cleaned up and we are going to start emptying this old shed. This old shed that we talked about was actually used as a dryer for drying prunes and pears. That was the stove. It went out the top. He had a bunch of fans in here, and those are the racks. And actually, this caught fire at one point, and he stopped using it. And since then, it's just been a shed full of junk. So the boys have come in and helped me get a bunch of stuff. There was a bunch of stuff here, gas cans and all kinds of stuff. So we've gotten a lot of that out. We're gonna come in, we're gonna get the rest of this out, and then we're gonna take this down. So between being completely rickety, partially burned down, and blocking access to our firewood shed, this thing is gonna go. The other reason why it's gonna go is Herman needs a place to park his little side-by-side. And so we're gonna put that little side-by-side right here for him. It'll be perfect. It's underneath the apple tree, so in the summer, it'll be shaded. Are you lost? Where's the rest of your herd, buddy? You don't know? This is the livestock guardian goat. Why is your tongue sticking out the side like a goofball? All right, the boys are gonna get him back with the rest of his herd. In the meantime, we're gonna continue to clean this out. We got all kinds of stuff in here that we just need to pull out, find homes for, or put in the scrap metal pile, or trash cans, or a burn pile if it's a burnable thing like wood or cardboard, something like that. I don't blame Herman for any of this. Herman is 90, almost 3. In a month, he'll be 93. And for the last, we'll call it 15 years, he hasn't had a whole lot of help up here. He's had a few people come up and help him occasionally. A couple family members came up and helped him a few times. But it was a lot for him to take care of. And you can just tell that he just ran out of steam of being able to organize stuff. I've actually been told stories by his kids that back in the day, this place was manicured. It was spotless. After hearing these stories of how well manicured this place was, I believe it. I think what happened is he just lost the ability to keep up with everything, and slowly it got worse and worse and worse. And, you know, it's really hard to admit when you've kind of lost control of something. So we got most of the stuff in here cleaned out. I didn't realize these shelves were bolted together. They're all angle iron. So I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna dismantle all these shelves. Especially since I like to weld, I can use all this for other projects. This old wood stove here, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it. I haven't even opened it. Yeah, that's what I thought. It may be good for a little hunting cabin or something like that. All right, we're gonna get all this pulled out and then we'll take the whole entire shed down. Let me show you what we found. We found a couple things in here. We got an old generator. And I say old generator because it's pretty old. It's probably about 20, 30 years old. But I bet you if I start this thing up, I bet you it'll work just fine. It's been a while since it's been used. Herman's used these for irrigating in the past. And these are both brand new ones. These are backup pumps. So we'll put them in the garage. But they're in good shape. Normally I try to keep the sheet metal, but in this case, because these are screwed together so many times, in some cases 2 and 3 layers thick, I'm not gonna do it. Well, it looks a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But it definitely still has some old stuff in there, like the wood stove.
Yeah, we still have the wood stove. Why don't you guys drive the mini truck over and we can start loading up all the timber. We can put that in the top burn pile, okay? And then everything else I'll pull out and we'll put in the scrap pile. It looks a lot different. It looks a lot different. Well, that's quite the scrap metal pile. I think the scrapper will be very appreciative of all of the donations I'm making to him. Well, as always, we still have some cleaning to do. The boys are gonna help me pick up all the little pieces of plastic and little trash and stuff. So we have two trees here. We have the apple tree and we have the pear tree. I think I'm gonna take the pear tree out. And here's why I think I'm gonna take the pear tree out. If I leave it, it's growing right up through the apple tree. And it's just never gonna be a good situation for either tree. And so I'm gonna take out the pear tree, I'm gonna leave the apple tree, we're gonna prune it back. We're up here a little bit earlier than normal because a neighbor of mine called me and said, hey, would you like our cow manure? And I said, absolutely. Let's go see if the old dump truck's gonna start for us. I know she runs good. The question is she gonna start for me? Just give her a go. That sounds about right. Well, looky there. It started right up. Give it a minute for the compressor to fill up the air tanks and it'll stop buzzing. In the meantime, let's go let our goats out. All right, goaties, you ready to go? All right, come on, goats. So that's done for the day. They'll go up and they'll graze. Today, they're heading up the hill. Sometimes they head down the hill and go towards Herman's and get a bite. Today, they're going up there. Now that the goats are let out and the dump truck's warmed up, we are going to go pick up that manure. We're gonna put it right here on the hot side of our compost pile, and we're gonna let it break down. Well, it's one thing to have a truck that runs, it's another thing to have a truck that actually moves. It's a little too slick for that old two-wheel dump truck, so we're gonna pull it out with the truck. Problem is, I'm the only one here, so if anybody knows how this is gonna go, well, let me know in the comments. I know this sounds crazy. I'm telling you, I know it's crazy. I'm aware of that. So this is what I generally do when I have the situation. I try to pull with the front vehicle. I leave the back vehicle in neutral. And then, as I get to the top of the hill, I leave the front vehicle in drive. I hop out, I jump in the second vehicle, and I stop the first vehicle with the second vehicle. I know. You can put it in the comments. I know. I should have brought Clint. He told me, you should take me, Dad. I said, I won't need you, you'll be fine. Yep, it's always an adventure. All right, let's get this down to the neighbors. Now we got this on the downhill side of the property. This is the first load. We got one more load, and this load is really heavy. Generally, my truck doesn't have to work too hard to drive up the hill, and this morning, it had to work pretty hard to drive up the hill. So. right, well, the boys are helping me right now. We are going to quickly turn the compost pile over. Grab that, pull that way, and I'll help you if you need it. So it's been about a month and a half since we flipped this pile. Let's get a temperature on the pile. It's sitting about 70 degrees on this side, which is what I would expect considering that's kind of the colder side, meaning it's pretty much done. Now this was our hot side. Let's see what this is cooking at. All right, it's climbing just a little, but not much. I mean, I don't think we'll be much above 80 degrees maybe. Well, let's rotate it and we'll see what we get and see what the inside looks like. I generally like to rotate it more frequently, but between holidays and weather and everything, just didn't get to it. But we'll definitely get this manure all piled up nice and tall and let that start baking. I rolled the whole pile down this way about 9 feet, maybe 3 yards, something like that. I also buried part of the cow manure with some of the horse manure compost. The reason for doing that is to create a little bit of insulation. I'm gonna pull the plastic over this, but I'm just trying to get this side to really start going off. I want it to get really, really hot. I want it to bake off really good, and then we'll be able to use it sooner rather than later. Man, that wind is loud. Holy smokes, it's cranking up here. All right, well, we also have something that I've never had up here. You can see there's little flies on here, and I've never had those up here. Obviously, these came with the cow manure, and this cow manure is gonna be pretty hot because it came out of a barn. Am I worried about this cow manure? No. I know where it came from. I know the animals it came off of. I also know the practices that the farmers use that have these cows. Now, these cows are in a barn, and that's why I'm getting this. It's cleaned out on about a monthly basis, and so they build up straw on top of straw on top of straw. Where do they get the straw from? It's their straw off their field. Because of all those circumstances, I'm happy to use it. Why do I generally not want to just get somebody's horse manure or cow manure from their farm? It really comes down to the practices. Are they using hormones? Are they pumping their animals with a bunch of antibiotics? Are they using a ton of dewormers? Is the straw coming from a field that has a lot of chemicals applied to it? All those things play into why I would use one person's manure and not somebody else's. All right, we're gonna let this bake off, but before we bake it off, we're gonna pull that plastic back over the top of it, so that way we can trap as much of that heat and everything in there, because we are in the middle of winter. While it's not super cold out today, it's probably about 50 degrees. I want to get as much breakdown as possible before we start putting, well, the stuff that's done breaking down onto our beds. And then through the whole entire spring and summer, we will bring up our horse manure from our barn and we will replenish this. This is about a year's worth of horse manure, so we'll have more next year to help apply to more beds. All right, that should stay, I think. We'll see. Let's get down and see what the boys are up to. I think they're moving some metal, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll keep cleaning up this place. We got all our manure dealt with. We are gonna come in and finish pruning this tree right next to Herman's. I did a lot of pruning yesterday. I didn't take it back like I did some of the other trees, because this tree has a different purpose. Because, well, those trees, I wanna be able to pick the fruit easily. This tree is going to be more enjoyable in the sense it's gonna give shade for Herman. And for us, it's gonna be a nice tree next to Herman's house. We still need to get up and get this branch taken care of, this big one right there. We need to take the top out of that and make sure we don't break Herman's antenna. Clint, if you want, you can start pulling branches over, dude. There's a lot of branches that need to be pulled. Over underneath there, I can't get to those with the excavator. All right.
Yeah.
Yo.
I didn't get my gloves.
Why didn't you get your gloves?
Because
You don't even have a spare pair up here?
No.
All right, well, what's the rule?
Dad, no.
If you don't bring your gloves, you can't wear your pants.
No. You always.
That's a good rule, isn't it?
You always.
You will teach your boys to quickly show up prepared to work if you tell them if they don't bring their gloves, they can't wear their pants.
You always let play slide.
No, that's fine, I'm just teasing. Well, you can pull these. These aren't thorny, they're just apple branches. Well, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be more out to the sides, but I don't think I really did much in the way of damage to it. I think most of the damage was already done. That is much better. We really got this cut back. I don't think it's too much. I think it's just enough. We haven't killed the tree. Still have plenty of apples. Herman will be happy. We'll have plenty of growth in there for shade in the summer for Herman to sit underneath of and enjoy, as well as being able to go out and grab some sun because he likes that. Herman's a little bit on the cold-blooded side. He really likes sitting in the sun. All right, let's get off this without falling. So Clint was just pointing this out to me, that the grapevines are bleeding. They got a little bit of like gel, slime coming out. And anytime you cut a grapevine, they will bleed a little. In the spring and summer, they will bleed a lot. But in the fall and winter, once they've started to go dormant, they'll have a little almost like jam, jelly kind of stuff that kind of leaks out of them. And that's kind of what's happening right there. This is a view I never could have imagined. It's just not something that I ever knew what it was going to look like. Because when we bought this place, let me draw a little picture for you. So right here, right here where Merle is at, there was a dog cage for Herman's dogs. Basically, right about where I'm standing right now was part of a house that went all the way back to about where those pallets are at. And all of this was completely overgrown with grapes and blackberry bramble and everything else. You really couldn't even get back through here unless you kind of ducked around here and went underneath that tree, because the house came out to here and it was just overgrown. And so as we're doing this and we're slowly getting this place cleaned up, and I know there is trash everywhere. I'm very aware of it. Trust me, every time I film, I feel like I'm showing my underwear drawer off. It's what it is. But this feels like a big step, because this is a new view. This is something that feels really nice. It feels nice to be able to look through here, to walk through here, to start to think about what this space is going to look like over the next couple of years as we plant in here and we grow in here. And I have a picture. Here's my picture. This is going to sound so hokey. I imagine the white picket fence coming through here, going around the backside, over here, going all the way around this whole area. It's a white picket fence. So this area feels like a personal garden to the cabin. It feels like the yard. It feels like something that belongs to this cabin. So all these trees that we're working, these apple trees over here, those will all be part of that. All kind of fenced in on a nice little white picket fence. Cute picket fence, I'll put it that way. You can imagine that. And then this will be gardens, some grass, a nice place to sit, a nice place to harvest some food. And not like a market garden, more of maybe some raised beds, a victory garden. That's kind of what I imagine this area to be like. Now, I know this looks horrible. I'm well aware of that. I get it. The old garage has no siding on it. I didn't know that at all. I thought it had siding of some sort. Didn't realize all it was planks and some tar shingles. No idea. This is not going to be here forever, but it may be here for the next year or two. Over the course of, well, let's say the next 5 years or so, that's what I'm thinking of doing in here. This is going to be a step back to the 30s and 40s, 50s. White picket fence, Victory Garden, with this old cabin next to it. Now, this old cabin needs some love. I'm aware of that. We'll give it to it. But as I was standing here, we just got done cleaning up most of these branches, and I started thinking about this area and what had become, and the view that it has across to the next hillside. I started to realize that vision, that white picket fence, Victory Garden-esque vision, is going to be absolutely beautiful and stunning up here. That's my plans for this. You were just wondering.